Hello again. 25 years ago, the inquiry into Stephen Lawrence's death, known as the Macpherson Report, branded London's police force as institutionally racist, an expression which has become enormously popular ever since. From that day onward, a quarter of a century ago, the Metropolitan Police have been pathologically obsessed with becoming first non-racist and then anti-racist. At the same time, they've tackled misogyny, homophobia, transphobia, and any number of other fashionable causes within their organisation, to such an effect that the sight of female officers patrolling the streets is now almost as common as seeing men. And both sexes sport rainbow-coloured face paint on gay pride marches. This is, of course, all very heartening, and the only thing that the Metropolitan Police are not very good at these days is tackling crime. For the more progressive among us, this may not be seen as any great problem in a police force, but for the average citizen, it's an absolute scandal. Such people, I am one, tend to ask themselves what the actual use of the police is if they're not going to be investigating crime and helping the public. But it seems that these are two things which the Metropolitan Police are singularly useless at doing. This is not the view of a leader writer for the Daily Telegraph, you understand, but rather the carefully considered opinion of His Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary, the official body whose job it is to check up on the police and see that they are up to scratch, which the police in London are evidently not. The Inspectorate have issued their report like a school pupil's end of term report, and have assigned to various roles of the Metropolitan Police a range of classifications, ranging from outstanding at one end to inadequate at the other. I wonder if anybody would care to guess where London's police were ranked on investigating crime. Why, that's right, they were graded inadequate on this key aspect, the lowest possible grading for what most of us would regard as the key aspect of policing. This is indeed a sobering reflection. They are also, it seems, hopeless at preventing crime, responding to the public, and protecting vulnerable people. One is tempted to ask what the use of such a force might be if they are unable to undertake their basic function in a satisfactory fashion. In the description to this video, I give a link to a news report giving details of these findings. Many of us feel that they have, since the Macpherson report, become so obsessed with rooting out racism, recruiting more women, and proving that they love homosexuals, that they might perhaps have lost sight of their main purpose, which is surely to maintain the peace and detect and deter crime. We know that knife crime, robberies, rapes, shootings and so on have all increased in recent years in London, to the extent that the British capital is no longer a safe place to be. So what are the police actually doing? We know that they can move swiftly and effectively when they feel the need. I'm sure we were all pleased and encouraged to see how swiftly they dealt with those they described as far-right troublemakers, and the Commissioner has warned that his force is going to be cracking down on users of social media who incite trouble. This is all well and good, but I don't think that the average council taxpayer in London is asking himself when the police are going to come down hard on people using Facebook and Twitter. He is more likely to be asking himself why nobody came to investigate when he reported a burglary or when his car was stolen. These are the real concerns of the ordinary citizen, and what we all suspected for years has now been officially confirmed, that when it comes to investigating crime, the police in London are utterly hopeless. The present Commissioner, Mark Rowley, is of course useless and talks more like a left-wing social worker than a police officer. Before him, there was a woman who was chosen for the role simply because she was a woman. She was useless as well. My own feeling is if the Metropolitan Police would spend a little less time worrying about Islamophobia, transphobia, and various other with it left-wing causes that are always cropping up in The Guardian, and were to focus a bit more on investigating crime, then it might be no bad thing.